Okay, so we are here at Tattoo Expo Bologna. We have the honor to interview Filip Leu, a name that speaks for itself, an historic figure, probably an icon of the tattoo industry, born and raised in this tattoo culture, already a master in his teens. But this is my first question. Usually when we are in our teens, the general tendency of a teenager is rejecting everything that came from our parents. Did you ever had something like that, or you were just...
You're talking about teenage rebellion?
Yeah.
It was very hard to rebel against my father and my mother. They were very cool. They are cool. My rebellion as a child was tattooing, actually, getting tattooed. I started getting tattooed when I was 10, 11. By the time I was 14, I had quite a few. And I liked it because I kind of grew up in a hippie community most of my life, and everything's cool with these people, so it's hard to rebel.
There was nothing to rebel about.
But the tattooing worked. Oh, you're too young, so I liked it. It was perfect. Yeah, that would have been my rebellion, getting tattooed.
So you were just part of the rebellion, let's say.
Well, it's a funny story. I mean, my first tattoo I did because I wanted to declare my independence and, kind of big fuck you to everybody. And then within a week or two, I wanted another tattoo so I could belong to the tattoo family. So I went from one extreme to the other, in less than a month, so to speak.
Your first tattoo was... you did your first tattoo at 14, right?
Oh, working on people. No, I tattooed earlier than that. I started professionally at 15. But I tried tattooing since I was 12. Friends, 11 even, tattooed there.
That's great. And you were already considered a master in tattooing when you were 18, right? And
maybe a bit later.
Yeah, but anyway, at very young age. So being considered a master at that young age, it seems you probably never had the struggle somebody else had to go through to be successful. It seems that success is your nature. But maybe it wasn't. This is what appears from outside, of course.
My father started this family business. He made it successful. I just had to work. I'm Obelix. I fell in the pot.
Okay.
A lot of people, most people here, had to look for tattooing. They decided, what do I want to do? I'm going to do tattooing. I didn't have to look. It came to me.
Yeah.
So it's kind of different. And then he set up the business, my dad. I just had to work it. And the reason that I got recognition in my 20s early is because I started full-time at 15. I started earlier than a lot of people. So I had a head start. Nobody makes nice tattoos at the beginning. You have to learn,
Yeah, of course.
Right? There was a long struggle, just professionally speaking. My father was very old school teacher, very, he wouldn't let me fuck about or make mistakes, He was on me all the time, watching me and pushing me. Yeah, pretty quickly he took the back step and he put me in the front and pushed me forward.
So
It was easy in many ways. All I had to do was sit down and work.
So you didn't have any kind of struggle, something like...
Oh, it's a struggle every day. It really is. I drew a book for Luke with 2,000 dragon feet. Sometimes I sit down to draw a dragon foot and I'm struggling. It's unbelievable. Why, it's a weird thing. We're artists, so it's subjective to how you feel.
Yeah,
a good day it goes easy. A bad day nothing works, right? Yeah.
It seems that you have a kind of thing with dragons. It seems that you really love dragons. Maybe I don't. I don't know your entire work, but I saw a lot about dragons from you.
I really like the subject. I liked it even before my father was tattooing. I remember when he made jewelry when I was like 9. Did many jobs. No, dragons is really fun, and what I like about drawing them is they don't exist.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? So
you can do it.
You can have fun, right? You really have fun. I studied a lot the Japanese tattoo artists, Horitoshi, Oicho. I like looking at their work and learning how to draw like them. Now, through people like Luke or Mick, they have really amazing book collections. I started collecting, and we go to the source where the Japanese artists copied from the old paintings, right?
Yeah.
So I started to steal from there. I use Ichibe a lot because he does the same thing. He finds these designs and brings them forward for us.
How many dragons did you draw?
No idea.
Thousands?
Yeah, and I still have a hard time as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's amazing.
Because you're perfectionist. Because Leonardo da Vinci was used to say that a piece of art is never finished. It's just abandoned.
I totally agree.
Because we as artists are always looking for something.
I totally agree. And the thing you learn with time is when is a good moment to abandon it.
Yeah.
Because you come close to the end and then you fuck it up and you go backwards and then you got to work a bit more and you go close to the end. So it's learning the moment to stop. It's like learning when to stop drinking.
Oh yeah.
You know, there's this one point in the night when it's you know you should stop.
You need experience.
You need experience on that, right?
Yeah.
But then experience works against you sometimes. You've drawn it so many ways.
Yeah.
Now you start looking for a new. You get stuck in a corner, right?
Yeah, I was talking yesterday with Melvin about that, and I will add a question. I was in a seminar from illustrators and painters, and the interesting thing is that they showed us, I think it was 20 or 25 paintings, and they said what they want to do was showing us the perfectionism that in which we as artists lose ourselves. And they took the painting. There was 3 stages: the sketch, the middle, and the last one. And they were showing us the difference between the middle and the finished product was really almost irrelevant. It was just our perfectionism.
The idea is in the sketch. Once you've got the sketch right, that's it, right?
Yeah, you add a little bit, but then, and the incredible thing, well, this is not even a question, it's just a consideration. We share ideas. And the incredible thing is that most of the time of those paintings were lost between the middle stage to the end, and the changes was really, well, for the external eye was irrelevant.
Right.
It was just the artist that was, maybe I do the eye in this way or the other way. Do you find yourself in the same kind of perfectionism, or do you think that with your experience you already found when you have to start?
I understand that. I've got a couple of ways of working. Usually I work pretty quick, just for the pleasure of doing something fast, because tattooing is so slow that when I do part from the tattoo scene, I like to enjoy myself. But there are a few paintings that I take to the end, at my end, and I love the ending. It's the fun part. It's when it's when you've walked around it and come to terms with each corner. Okay, I'm happy with this bit, and I'm happy with this bit. And you got to happy with all the bits, and then it's got to work together. And then, I like that. It takes to do a painting. I don't know about
57,
less, even smaller, 40, 30 or something. I can do a week, which is a long time for me, because some of the stuff I do takes 2 hours. I just like the freedom of going quick. But the ones that I get to spend time on, I like the ending. But then I paint differently. Since tattooing is so regimented. You have a design, you have to meet the requests of the person you work for. It's a commission, actually, right? That I'm Titine, my wife, she will sketch, pre-sketch, work on ideas. I don't. I'll just start and then work for a while and then start to see things. Oh, look, there's a, and then I bring that to life. Oh, look over here, this could be. So it's more like a game, actually. I tend to not worry about what it means or what it looks like. That's not really the important thing for me. I just look for harmony for my eye, that the colors are right, and I like the shapes, and I use a few tricks that I use over and over again. Each artist has his, I like perspectives and stuff like that, so I throw that in there. Yeah, no, the art for me is good for my tattooing in the way that I can experiment. Not that I don't tattoo very much of my art on people. I've only got about 6 or 7 people that wear psychedelic tattoos that have nothing to do with my regular production. Yeah, because, you know, I don't know, I was thinking about pizza. I had a pizza yesterday. Oh, it was good. This guy cooks the same pizza every fucking day, and yet he's still making it good.
Yeah.
That's an achievement, you know?
Yeah, that reminds me, I don't remember the name. There was this violinist, it was 92, 93. There was this, the journalist asked him, you are one of the greatest violinists in the world, and you stopped playing live about over 10 years ago, but you're still practicing 2 hours a day, every day. Why is that? And he replied, well, I can see there's still improvements.
Yeah.
So yeah, art is that.
You know.
We're apprentice for life.
Yeah, apprentice for life.
Yeah. Where I was now? Oh, I already. Okay. Probably. Okay, you already. What was your biggest challenge as an artist?
Are we talking art in general, or are we talking tattooing here?
As an artist, I think even if tattooing probably can be considered as a commission, so maybe it's more a craft than art, but still, I think it's art. There's art in there. So.
Well, I do make the distinction between tattooer and tattoo artist. It's 2 different fields, right?
Yeah, I think so.
You know.
Yeah, the tattooer is just. Do you mean
he's
the tattooer is the one that just
only does
walks
reproduction.
in and say,
No, just
okay.
reproduction.
Yeah.
They don't, you know, and the other ones are where we actually experiment and work. But my biggest challenge in tattooing itself in the beginning was getting over the hurdle of hurting people. That was my biggest block, causing pain. It's not natural. So that was a real struggle to learn how to be able to do your job and ignore this part. You have to block out the pain so you can do your job properly.
Yeah.
That was kind of difficult.
Yeah, I still struggle with
Yeah,
that. Sometimes.
It's hard. It takes energy.
Yeah.
If the person is in a lot of pain, it takes all your energy, you know. Artistically, my biggest hurdle, it's fucking all the time. I don't know. The discipline to work regularly. Because it's like everything. If you're an athlete, you need to exercise. If you're an artist, you need to work. Now, sometimes I don't work a lot on paper or canvas, just the tattooing, but I think I work in my head. And then when I get down to painting, but it's difficult for me to paint regular. I wish I was more disciplined in that department. Because it would be better for me. It'd be easier to work than if you do it all the time a bit.
Yeah.
You know, if you're cold, you haven't painted for a few months and you want to make a painting, it takes you a couple of days to get into it, right?
Yeah. Yeah, because also I find myself a bit lazy sometimes, and I see a lot of artists that they sometimes become lazy. There was a comic artist, an Italian comic artist that unfortunately he died very young, and he said that
Liberator?
No, Liberator is still alive. Is Andrea Pazienza. Yeah, he's still alive.
Yes.
Andrea Pazienza.
I love Rank Xerox. You know,
Yeah,
I collected comics since I was a kid.
Yeah.
I have a lot of comics. I wanted to be a comic book artist when I was small, you know.
Okay.
I really love, yeah.
I did it.
You know my problem?
For a
I could
while.
never find a story good enough. I needed somebody else's story, because every time I tried to draw my own stories, by the time I got to the middle of sketching this out, I lost faith in the story and I abandoned it, right?
Yeah.
You have to believe in the story, right?
A lot of comic artists
work
actually
in-
they work in yeah.
You get the sketch guy, you get the ink guy, you get the letter guy, you get the color guy. You know, you get the story guy.
But that's more an American thing. In Europe, we were used to have a writer and a comic artist.
Just the two.
And the colorist.
She comes.
Yeah, and
her
the colorist,
Her family
yes.
comes from comic books there, and they had a lot of comic book shops. It's my wife, Titine.
Hi. Yeah, and the colorist. Yeah, it depends because I remember there was the colorists that were coming in the next stage. There was the writer, the comic artist. They were working on black and gray for the magazine, and there was the how do you call the puntate episodes. And then when they were make the book, the whole story, then. It was the time for the color, yeah. And what's your biggest challenge now?
Getting up or getting out of bed every morning. Actually, we just started something. I just made my first sculpture, actually, like proper sculpture for an art show in Geneva. Titine's done it before, and with my brother we each made a sculpture. I really liked it. I did this like skull, a little bit Star Trek. I always wanted to work in this idea of building monsters for the cinema. Looks like a fun job, right?
Yeah.
All the special effects. So we made one, and I really liked it. It was a little challenging, but I want to do more. 3D art in 3 dimension,
Yeah, it's great. Do you ever work digitally?
No. I don't even use Photoshop. I am like really old school. I use light tables and tracing paper. I got a photocopy machine now, which is nice. It helps. Yeah, it really does. You blow something up. I'm learning to steal from here and there and make like little collages quick for work.
Would you like to experiment with digital stuff?
I've had people come in the shop and show me this Wacom or the iPad stuff, and I'm just afraid that if I start working with that technology, I'll spend more time learning about the technology and less time doing art.
No, it's not so difficult.
I'm a idiot. I'm obsessive. When I play video games, I do only that. I get lost in I record music. I don't make good music, but I like using the program so much. It's like a video game. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I make a quick song, and when the song is finished, it takes me one day to make a song. That's done. Next,
Yeah, I know.
I'd never finish it. Right?
I understand. That's why I got rid of all the games, all the PlayStation, everything. I got rid of
You have to.
Because I remember the first time I lost 2 years in that, and I was.
The game says you've played 90 hours. You're like, what?
Yeah.
It's 5 o'clock. You have to go to sleep now. It's like.
Yeah. The tattoo industry is changed a lot, especially in the last 25 years.
Not even just the last 5 years. It's accelerating this stuff.
What do you think is the best and the worst, if there's the worst?
Well, the best, I would say, is the opening up of the information. It's all free flow now. And I would say all of these highly talented young art students that are able to join the profession because it's not so scary, it's not so difficult. It used to be hard to get into tattooing.
Yeah.
There were a lot of good artists that were not strong enough to do the apprenticeship, right? So they didn't become tattooers. Now, they don't even need to do an apprenticeship. They learn from the internet. That's really good, but it's also bad because there's a loss of some guidelines that is not being, but they will all learn in time. The main message is don't forget you're working on living skin. It will change with time. It doesn't matter how small your needle is or how hard you work to make it. It's not going to stay.
It's the same
alive,
thing that
right?
Fercioni told me
Yes,
yesterday.
it's really a fundamental rule that is kind of being forgotten a little bit. Because some of this art I see now, these realistic portraits, I couldn't even paint it on canvas, honestly. And I don't even understand how they can do it on the skin. It's so hard. But it's short-lived, I think, for the most part. I do believe that if they keep working, they might figure it out. And I don't think that realism is bad in color in that sense. I think it needs to be done on a larger scale, not so tight.
Oh, yeah.
A little bigger
I agree.
will mean it will age better, right? A few rules like that. I mean, all of these TV shows and conventions and the opening of tattooing has made it easier than it ever was before. If you know how to use Instagram and you work your PR, you can travel the world today, and wherever you go, you have appointments waiting for you, right? And you can hop around the planet, and it's great. On the other side, I don't know, maybe Pinterest is destroying the individuality of tattooing. You know, everybody's getting the same little Pinterest elephant. It's this thing online. You can get it in Tokyo, you can get it in Buenos Aires, you can get it in...
The imagination.
Yeah, they're all using the same sources of designs, right? People go to the computer, and if you look on the computer, you think, oh, I find everything I want. No, I have a book collection. There is more stuff in my collection about dragons than I can find on the internet.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
So you'll only find on the internet what people take the time to upload, and they didn't do it all. So yeah, people are using the same group of designs a lot, I think. That's causing similarities. I like individuality, that when you can look at the work, you go, oh, that's a Titine. Oh, that's a Luke, right?
Yeah.
And it's
Do
harder.
you think this is happening also because you were talking about art students that get into tattooing, and it's easy, so they theoretically have the foundation to create their own art. While before of that, tattooers were not really trained in art.
No, not at all.
And so
for the most part.
probably they were just copying.
Yeah.
And so, do you think that this is happening also with this new?
No, there's a lot of creation going on. People know a lot of copying. There's a lot of reference work, stuff like that. But that's fine. I mean, it's better than it was. If you looked when we first looked around, like in the 80s, a lot of the Japanese designs that came out of Germany, I would get, or Europe, they were terrible designs, right? Dragons
well, in Italy until the 90s, even later.
Yeah, I know, but
everything in Italy started so late compared to the rest of the Europe. And
I mean, somebody was telling me a story that in the 40s, Japanese tattooers would go to Hamburg. They'd come on the boats, and they'd work in Hamburg, tattooing by hand, doing beautiful work, and then the local guys would copy the designs by hand, and then those would get copied and copied and copied, but all the copies were done by guys that didn't understand drawing, so they got worse and worse, right? Started with something good, and ended up with a dragon with 3 legs, you know, and a funny face, and they just copied it until now it's going up.
Yeah, because there are people that are able to
have
draw,
the understanding,
so they
yes.
take something that is good and maybe make it even
They
better.
take something that's bad and they make it good.
Yeah.
They have that capacity.
Yeah, that's great.
No, as far as the designing goes, I have no complaints. I am very happy that the art is getting stronger and stronger and stronger. I think that's great.
And the worst?
The worst part is maybe it's a mix in both ways. I don't know. I watch some tattoo shows sometimes. They drive me mad, right?
Oh yeah.
But then it's funny.
Yeah, we were talking.
I like
yesterday.
Chef Ramsay, which is a terrible show on cooking. It's not about cooking. It's about him yelling at people,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. It's
And
just about the experience.
Yeah, it's about it's so I should shut my mouth and just accept these shows are good for business. That's all I could say. But maybe they give a false image of who we are. But then, hey, it's a plastic world, right?
Yeah, probably.
It's all show. I mean, it's funny. The worst. You know, it's not really that bad.
There's nothing worse. So.
Nothing really bad, you know. Just it's an evolution. Things are changing, and it's still growing. This is what surprises me. I expected it to slow down at some point. It's not slowing down. You know?
Well, I think that I was talking in the last week about the last millennia since the monotheism raised, and it seems that wherever the monotheism is
present.
Yeah, they banned tattoos. So in the Western world, tattoos were not banned, but used as a mark of shame.
Correct.
So it means that before of that, we were tattooing. We always had a tattoo culture. They just banned for whatever reason, and then we are rediscovering this kind
Probably
of culture.
political that comes against tattoo, and they use it as an excuse, right? To
Well, I have my theory.
because tattooing was popular as well. They were 18 when Captain Cook brought it back to England. The aristocrats, you know, it was in, then it was out, then it was in, now it's out. The problem with it now is that all of these people that get tattooed since I'm in this, they've become older. Now people are actually a little bit in control of certain positions in life, but they're pro-tattoo because they're covered. Right.
Yeah.
So for it to go away, I mean, hey, anything could happen tomorrow, but banning it, I don't see that happening right away. Some
No, of
really
course
bad
not.
stuff would have to happen before they could stop this.
Yeah, that's what I meant, because now that is, let's call it that there is this kind of renaissance of tattooing. I think it's normal that people want that.
Yeah. You know,
We got rid of all this banning and.
who knows? Who knows?
religious-
I mean, if the whole world was tattooed, I guess I'd want to be non-tattooed.
Yeah, probably.
Right? If it was mandatory, I don't think just for the fun, I'd say no, right?
Now you have to be tattooed. Oh no. Yeah.
I'm a dinosaur. I've you know, facial tattoos, hand tattoos, neck tattoos. This was something when I started, you only saw this on people that were full. They had the complete body, there was nothing left, so they did the hands, they did the neck, they did the feet, right? And the face. And now this new generation that starts with the neck and the hands,
Oh yeah.
it's kind of shocking to me a little bit. I'm a dinosaur, you know, I think in the old way.
It's the opposite right now.
It's the opposite
you
of
start
what
from outside to
and go
get
in.
inside.
Yeah. Which is a total 180. And these people, as they grow older, it's also, they're not going away. You can't lace all this off. So tattooing is kind of, it's not a hairstyle. It's not a clothing style. It's kind of more permanent. Never mind why they do it. Now they're going to have to live their whole life tattooed.
Yeah. Do you think it's coming from the TV shows you were talking
A
about?
little bit. Maybe it gives them the excuse or the feeling that it's not, you know, because, hey, how many people I know that get tattooed that they're the first person in their family to be tattooed, for example. You know, I say, is your mother tattooed, your father? No, your brothers? No. So they have to do it and defend it to the family, right?
Mm-hmm.
And before it was harder. Now they can say, Mama, look at the TV show, it's okay. Look, the star is tattooed and the movie actor is tattooed and Sylvester Stallone has sleeves and, you know, things are becoming more democratic, more open. It's not just one group. Even though tattooing was everybody before, there was a lot of people that got tattooed and just didn't show it. They hid it,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah,
It's the-
Johnny were talking about that.
Since
before.
I started, we've
Yes.
worked on lawyers, doctors, you know, all kinds of people that would never show the tattoos to the normal public, right? And they've always existed, this group.
Yeah, it's kind of also psychological probably. What we were talking before now the people is starting from outside to get it inside. Before probably people were more
Undercover, it was more secret.
yeah,
The
but
secret is over, put it that way. No more secret, right?
Yeah, but maybe I don't know how to say this because it's not a question that I prepared. So my English is not so good. I'm thinking just about the idea that maybe before people were more conscious about themselves. They were not constantly bombarded from
you're
the
talking-
outside world.
You're talking about the world before the internet.
Yeah,
It was a different world,
yeah,
right?
So that's also a metaphor about the people. They were full inside, and so they didn't need to show anything. Now is the opposite.
Very possible. But it doesn't matter what the reason. When the person comes in, sits down, and you stick the needle in the arm, they all have the same experience,
Yeah.
right? Right? It doesn't matter. That's the moment of truth, yeah. Yeah. And then they manage that, and then they have to live with it for
Yeah.
their whole life. So whatever the reason, they still become then tattooed and part of this, the thing that's hard to deny once you're tattooed, you know, it's
Yeah.
you. Somebody asked me an interesting question. He says, how do you feel about changing people's lives? When you tattoo their whole body, you change their life, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, no, they changed it. Then they come to me and I make it permanent.
Yeah,
But they were the ones that made the change in their mind and they come to fight. I don't take people off the street,
Yeah, you're right.
right? So they've had to do the process before they come to me. And we just solidify it. We make it real, right? So
Yeah,
I'm
I
not
love
responsible.
this,
I don't feel responsible for changing their life. I'm part of changing their life, but it was their decision. My fault, their decision. Okay? That's the way I do it, right?
I love this idea. Really profound. There's anything you will change? Oh no. Well, it's the same anyway. What would you suggest to a young guy that's starting tattooing today?
Draw, look, study, you know. I don't know, I'm very critical. I've always looked at things like if I would have made it. And the work I like is the work that I would see myself doing, but I can always see something I would change in my work and the work of others. I think it's good to stay critical.
Yeah.
You know, it can be improved. There is no ultimate. There is no best. That's a wrong idea, right?
I think it's the best thing of every art is that there's always room to improve.
I look at it like levels in a building with groups of people. I've now got to this level, right? Hey, we're all doing. Now we're going to move up, try and get to the next level of like understanding or application. I don't know. I'm trying to go simple. Simple is the opposite of easy.
Yeah.
It's simple is not easy, right?
Yeah.
It's really hard.
Who said that a genius? Every idiot can make something complicated, but you need a genius to make something simple.
I like that.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't remember who said that, but it's an old.
Picasso?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Because he was into that, yeah.
I don't remember. It's I read it when I was a kid.
Something that actually helped me in tattooing, a guy called Sailor Moses, he's American, and I met him once, but he had a quote I liked. He said, if you make a mistake long enough, over and over again, people will call it a style.
Oh yeah.
And this fucking helped me, right? I was like, oh, all right, you know, yeah, I can deal with that.
Okay, cool. That's lovely.
And the other quote I liked was that good artists copy, great artists steal.
This is from Picasso.
That's Picasso?
Yeah,
I like
that's
that.
Picasso.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was good. I was like, yeah, right on. Because, you know, original is a strange and slippery idea. Original idea, like a really original, I don't know, does it exist? You know, there had to be somebody who drew the first dragon, and then we just copied this guy, everybody, you know what I mean?
Something derivative.
But it's hard to be original in this day and age in tattooing. It's very hard. I look around to see people who have styles that stand out. There's a guy I met, Javier Obregon. He does amazing biomech, but it's not really biomech, it's more abstract art. He makes these weird shapes. Marcus Lenhardt, I was talking to earlier, he does it biomech, but it's different.
He tattooed me yesterday.
Yeah,
My
I
leg.
really like his work because
Me too.
it's you recognize him when you see it. It's like, oh, I know who that is. Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's
really
what I like.
original. Yeah.
Really original. And yet, I'm sure you find his work in paintings and every. What was it? Duchamp, that guy. He done this. Marcel Duchamp, right? It was this the Nude descending staircase. It's one of those Picasso period. It's all made out of blocks. It's a motion painting. You see it's like a robot or woman coming down the stairs, but you can see the motion of the legs and the arms. You know, it would make a great tattoo, and that was done fucking years ago. You know?
Yeah, that's great. There's anything you would change in your artistic experience, in your
I'd like
something that you maybe would say?
I want more time. I need more time.
Okay.
You know, I wish I was 20. Right? Because it
I
takes a
think
long time
everybody-
to understand what you want to do.
I think
and how
everybody
to do
would
it,
like to have more time.
Yeah, more time is what I'd change. But otherwise, I wish I wasn't so lazy, like you were talking before. Laziness is a drug.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, but sometimes maybe we need to
Absolutely.
be lazy. I don't remember Duchamp maybe, and he said that an artist need some laziness, because without laziness you can get your ideas.
Yeah, you need time to think.
Yeah.
you need time to think.
Yeah, I like this one. And if you could go back in time when you were 20, what would you say to yourself?
Work harder.
Just that.
Yeah, because you can't go back. You know, all the work I did earlier, I wish I had more of it, because not that I didn't. I enjoyed myself a lot. I've had a good life, you know. I didn't work all the time, and I have no regrets really. But yeah, it's cold, isn't it? Yeah, just, you know, it's a good place to be. Tattooing, I'm very happy. It's been a good life.
And there is, what is the thing that makes you most proud of yourself? So that thing that you said, finally, I did it.
Pushing the big magnums, you know. When I started, and then I started using magnums, the biggest one that people were using was an 11. And I'd talk to everybody, why don't we have more needles? Oh, it's not possible. And it's so stupid. It's like if you're painting a room, you do the corners with a small brush, and then you get the roller for the big part, right?
Yeah.
And I talked to Lyle Tuttle, I asked Hardy, I asked all people, right? And
so we
Jack
have
Rudy.
to thank you for the
Well, they
46
said,
minute.
but they said
great.
we tried it, it didn't work, right? So I went home. There's a local guy near where we live, a tattooer called Perf. He's a precision mechanic guy I've tattooed from when I was very young, and he started making tubes for me, and we tried different prototypes. It took us about 2.5 years to find the perfect tube, and when I got it working, then I went to America, and we done like 3 conventions, and I worked in public. I showed everybody the tube, everybody took pictures and measurements, and within a year the industry started using it. And now I'm so happy whenever I see somebody using it, because it's my fault. It's accelerated tattooing, bigger work is done, less pain, better for healing, the whole thing. That's directly my fault. That's actually why there's a tube out there with my name on it.
I wouldn't call a fault.
Well, no, okay, it's my reason. No, I'm very proud of that. I'm really, really happy. I think of new tattoo machines. I want to invent a new machine. You know these maglev trains, the trains that run, they don't have wheels, it's on electricity.
Oh, yeah?
No, magnets.
Yeah.
And nothing touches. I want to make a machine like that.
That's
It'll have
great.
no moving parts. It won't use up. I've been playing with it. I like to try and because, you know, it's an old industry we have, right? The machines we use was patented in 1927.
Yeah.
And they haven't changed since. It's actually surreal. Everything else has moved forward technology-wise.
Yeah.
All of these new Cheyenne and all the other companies, it's just a
totally
rotary.
with you.
Yeah, it's a rotary.
I think
we need
same.
something new,
Yeah.
right? Forward.
Yeah, do you think that it is just because the market, because before the tattoo industry was really a niche, right now is spreading. So I thought, okay, in like I don't know, maybe a dentist, everybody go to a dentist. So there is an industry behind that they want to invest money to
they innovate. They're constantly evolving.
But we didn't have something like that.
It's starting now.
Yeah.
This is these years. It's really starting to expand. There's lots of people trying to make new systems, but they're always working with the old. I think we should get away from the old one and try something totally different, right?
I'm totally with you.
Because my thinking is, look, we can send a machine to Mars. Why the fuck we can't build a new tattoo machine? You know what I mean? Come on, right?
Yeah.
It's got to be possible.
Yeah, I don't have the skill to do something like that, but I'm totally with you.
I have the dreams, and I talk to electricians and electronics. When these guys come to the shop, I talk about my ideas. And there's a few guys, they tried and they couldn't do it. It's not easy, otherwise somebody would have done it, but I'm sure it's possible.
Yeah, maybe you should talk with Apple or some of these guys. Because I was thinking about also a new lamp, and I was thinking we have this LED here on the phone.
Yep.
They are so powerful, and we are still with these big lamps. And also, I thought also about the machine. Well, you can take it anyway. I won't do nothing about there is the motor, the engine that make the iPhone or other phones vibrate.
Yes.
They are pretty powerful.
Tiny.
Yeah.
Fucking microscopic engines, correct.
So
we need a new drive
Yeah.
shaft. That's what we're looking for, right? Something that doesn't get hot. We did make one that has only one spring and it works on a different system, but it gets too hot. That's one of the problems, is the heat, right? Yeah, I think it's an open field. It's going to change. I'm excited.
Yeah.
I think it's really cool.
And you had, I don't know how many hundreds, probably thousands of interviews. There's a question that maybe you thought, why no one is asking me this question?
Yeah, okay, what is it?
I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe in all these interviews, those interviews, you thought, well, maybe they will ask me something like that, and they never, and you maybe...
One question they don't ask me too much is if I make mistakes. I make mistakes every day. Part of the way I work is fixing my mistakes. You know, it's like drawing. I've come to a point in tattooing where even a mistake is not a problem. I can fix it, right?
Yeah.
So it's the way I see it when I'm from my side. When I tell my friends watching me work, I'm like, did you see me make a mistake and fix it? And they're like, no, we didn't see it. I think that's cool. I like that.
Yeah, but would you call it really a mistake? I mean, if you draw something, and it's... I remember when I was in school and my teacher, that was Karel Toll, maybe you know him, it was Karel Toll, the illustrator of, it's... how do you call it? A periodical?
Periodical, yes.
Periodical called Urania. It was a sci-fi...
Italian guy.
Yeah, no, he is Dutch. He was Dutch,
guy.
Unfortunately.
Maybe the designs. I mean, I love science fiction. It's one of my pet things.
And he told me that sometimes what we perceive as a mistake is not really a mistake. It's just our perfectionism. We were talking before. So maybe, are you sure you're fixing mistakes, or you're not working on your perfectionism as an artist?
You should sit in the sun.
Hai fatto qualche foto? Okay, thank you.
You know, I only call it a mistake. No, obviously when I draw, I modify en route. It's like painting, right? Until you're finished. No, it's only a mistake in the sense of tattooing is a process, right? The lines, and you do your lines correct, and you shade, and then you color. There is no room for inventing and fucking around, right?
Yeah.
But I tend to do that more and more. So it's more like illustrating on the skin. I'm more free with myself, and I enjoy that. You know, tattooing is a strange form of art. You're forced to create in public, on demand, and with a time limit. So it's like a performance.
Yeah, it's
right?
like,
Because we don't, as an artist, when you're at home, if you don't feel like working, you go drink a coffee, you know what I mean? Then you come back and you feel better. Here we can't.
Yeah.
So it's a stress performance kind of work. It's strange, yeah.
Yeah. There's a friend of mine from Scotland. We were talking about this, and he told me that we are pretty much like between a rock star and a doctor, because we can fuck somebody else's skin, and at the same time, what you're saying, it's required that we perform perfectly every day, and if we fuck one time, it's like a rock star that goes to make a gig, and it goes wrong, and everybody start talking shit about him. It's not good enough. It's not good enough.
One bad tattoo will do so much publicity compared to 10 good ones, right?
Yeah. Or the other one that I saw a video on internet. There was this story about a mathematics teacher that was doing the 1 + 1 = 2, 1 + 2, and so on. And she did one mistake in purpose, and all the class were laughing. And she said, "You see, you laugh just because I did everything right, but there was just one wrong, and you laugh about that." And so you have to learn that life is like this. Yeah,
that's correct.
What do you think will be the next step? Well, you already said that the next step is evolution, and a lot of probably investments in new technology and so on.
Well, yeah, since the industry has reached a point now where outside investors are starting to become interested, if you will, the corporate takeover of tattooing. Unfortunately, the corporate mind is not what I would like to see in this business. I would like to keep it more, more homegrown. I like that, the feeling of, an industry, because we still kind of know each other. It's getting big now, but some of the first conventions I went to in Amsterdam, at the end of the show, everybody went to one restaurant.
Yeah.
It's impossible now, they become too big.
Yeah, too much.
No, but I do see that there's maybe a change in the industry that is more geared towards capitalism, in the sense of tools, image, Even though if you look at tattooing when it was part of the carnivals, it was like hard sell and, get them in, get them out and all of that. It was much more very business as well at the time. I like the artistic stuff. Hardy started this, Ed Hardy, bringing fine art.
Yeah.
George Burchett, a guy was in the 40s, I think, in England. An amazing artist, not just tattooing. There's always been good artists here and there. That would be the sadder side if it became more, I don't know.
Do you think that someday, I don't think so, but anyway, do you think that one day the Western tattoo culture will use or perceive tattooing as sacred as it is for more, maybe let's call it more primitive culture?
No.
Or it will be always some I don't know, artistic is cool and sacred is cool, fashion I don't think is so cool. So do you think that we will ever have a chance that we go back to those kind of roots? Like
no. What's the most sacred thing today in Western culture? The iPhone. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but maybe the people will rediscover themselves, like right now. But I'm pretty sure you don't have this kind of problem. You do bodysuit and so on, but for many artists that they want to do bodysuit, but it's art because people want maybe little things. Maybe they put a little thing here. They don't do organic work. They don't decorate, and I think it's part of a sacred culture. If you look at primitive cultures, they have this kind of sacred art, and so they decorate their body in an harmonious way, totally.
If you go to tribal groups, right, these people were often half naked. So it made sense that they would decorate the body, correct? Because they could see it, right? Japan was my favorite when I traveled when I was younger, and I discovered the one tattoo, the body tattoo. They were the most intricate for me. One central design on the back, the rest is just a framework, and I liked it. The long culture of tattooing. Now there's a long culture of tattooing in the West too, but it was never, big tattoos, right? It was always been small. And when I started, the same tattoos were being done in the 80s that they do now. The little dolphin, the little tribal. It's always been there. And I think it'll always exist. These people are more interested in the act of tattooing than the image of tattooing. So in a world or a culture that has no more sacred or profound, they're making their own. Even though it's a silly little design, it's the act. They come, they're scared, they sit down, they suffer, they control the pain, they're happy, they feel stronger after. It's the process that's important for them. That's what they like, I think. Because the designs,
it's nothing.
It's not important. And it took a long time before I started doing big work, at least 10 years for me, even more, before people allowed me to do the big work. And I needed to travel and do it elsewhere and then come home. It's work. You have to do your time doing the little work before you get enough People need to meet you and like you. They need to know you. There needs to be a contact. People trust you. It's a strange the way they select for the big work, right?
Mm-hmm. It's like Maurizio Fercioni told me yesterday, when somebody gives you the entire body to decorate,
Yes.
it's an act of love.
Yes, it is. Absolutely. It's a huge step, right?
Yeah.
And we're doing pretty good for a culture that doesn't have bodysuits in it, if you will, Switzerland, right? To
Yeah.
be able to do more and
Italy
more. Yeah, Italy too. It's coming. It's starting, right?
Yeah.
But I don't think. I was talking to some guy. I forgot his name now, from Argentina, and he was talking about how over there they still think of the tattoo as a talisman.
Is it?
Talisman, an object of value in the sense of, I'm gonna get this, it'll make me stronger, you know.
Yeah.
They still have that concept that I don't think is here now as much. I think take lettering, Chicano script.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of people do it. Nobody can read it. But it speaks very loudly. It says, I'm tough,
Yeah.
right? It doesn't matter what's written there.
Yeah, is that kind
You
of
just see the lettering
is
and
that
you
kind
make an
of
idea.
rebellion that we were talking before?
Because it's
like-
funny, I can never read it, but you get the
Yeah,
message.
it's like my first tattoo I did myself when I was 14. I probably did it. I didn't know what I was doing. I did it with a
What did you
sewing
get?
needle.
What did you get?
It was a little rose, but
A
it
rose.
wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't even about the rose. It's just I was 14. There was this older guy, and he was coming back from the army. He had a tattoo. I never saw a tattoo. Well, a tattoo that was crappy shit.
Yeah.
Anyway, oh, what is that? And he explained me how he did it. And I went home and I did this little rose.
So why a rose?
Because it was the first design that I saw that I liked, and I thought, okay, I will try to do this on myself. And I did it, and I didn't even know why I did it. Probably I did it because I wanted. It was 1982, so I thought, okay, I will do this, and probably in those time in Italy there was just this kind of shit. So, and it was for drug addicts and
the
criminals
standard, the
and so on. So probably I just wanted to look tougher and older than I was. To look
Did your mom
like,
freak out?
Well, I was pretty good hiding
Oh, you hid it.
to my mom and to my father. So the first time that they had the chance to
See
find out that I was that I had this tattoo, it was 2 years later.
2 years.
So it was too late.
Too late, yeah.
So I remember my father. We were at dinner, and he looked at me and he had this reaction, quite. What have you done with your arm? And I said, oh, this one. It's 2 years there. That is there. So.
Okay.
There's no, it's like where you were in the last 2 years. So he said nothing, and
Yeah, my first tattoo was a black star for anarchy. I didn't even understand the concept, but it sounded good, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Filip, for this amazing conversation. And anything you would like to say?
Just thank you very much. It's been fun talking.
Thank you.
Maybe.
Thank you. It was great, I think.
Oh, wow, we almost did an hour.
Yeah.